I think it's a learning process. Like, in life you figure out like what's the purpose and what do you want, what makes you happy. That's the thing.
Welcome to the Creative and Code podcast.
Welcome to the internet, my friend.
Brought to you by ID Digital Agency.
Kind of a big deal.
Dive into the dynamic world of digital marketing, creative design, and coding with top experts, latest trends, and actionable insights. Let's get inspired and innovate together.
It's showtime.
G'day everyone and welcome to another podcast episode. My name is Jay and I'm the Strategy Director at ID Digital Agency. Today we have Ali Abbas, who is one of our front-end developers here at ID Digital. He's been with us for just over a year and he's worked on lots of different platforms, which is what the topic is for today. So if you're interested or have heard about WordPress, HubSpot or Dato CMS, this one's for you. We want to dissect them and compare them and make sure from a front-end developer's point of view and from a strategic director's point of view, which platform is good for what. Let's get straight into the interview. Here is Ali Abbas.
You have my curiosity. Now you have my attention.
Thank you. A little bit nervous.
Are you?
Yeah.
First podcast?
But excited as well.
Well, that's good. That's good. Well, thanks for being on the podcast already.
You're welcome.
Let's learn a little bit about you and your role at ID. What do you do and how long have you been here and all that?
Yeah. So I've been with ID it's been 1 year and I'm working here as a front-end developer. Joined last year with you guys, mainly working on CMS and multiple projects, exciting projects, I will say, like Peninsula Hot Springs and, a Summerland, VMCH. So, multiple platforms and multiple projects. So, and I think lots of learning things as well at the same time. Yeah.
That's good. Good to hear. And I think too, what we might do, this is going to be the first time we do the speed round at the front. It might be good just to get an idea of who you are and what makes you tick
Let's
as well.
do it.
And then, the aim of today is to really just talk to you as a front-end developer.
Yep.
And you have, like you said before, you've worked on a bunch of different projects, and HubSpot, WordPress with Elementor, and Dato CMS as well. So it'd be great to get into that a little bit later. But let's do the speed round first. It's meant to be speedy, so you don't have to go into a lot of big answers or anything. So here we go. You ready?
Yep.
Creative or code?
Creative.
Oh, for a coder, that's important. Favorite design tool?
Favorite design
or code tool, because you're a coder.
I will say Visual Studio.
Visual Studio, yeah. Favorite website?
Favorite website? Is it going to be like my website or?
No, it could be like a website you constantly go to. Or
I will say Apple because they have lots of transitions and animations going on. So,
so you get inspired. Gotcha.
Yeah.
How many hours per week do you work?
7.
7 hours?
I don't know.
How many hours per week, not per day?
Per week. Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right.
That's, I don't know, 35
or so? Something like that. Yep. What app do you open first every day?
Oh, it's going to be WhatsApp or family messages and stuff. That's the first thing.
Nice. Coffee or tea?
Coffee in the morning and tea in the afternoon.
Good idea. Dark mode or light mode?
Dark.
Mac or PC?
Definitely Mac.
Work from home or work from office?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Cats or dogs?
Definitely dogs.
Dogs. Good answer. What's your favorite font?
Arial.
It's also a good Disney movie too.
Yeah.
More important, design or spec?
Design.
What's your favorite snack while working?
It's usually I have nuts. Yeah, nuts.
Nuts. Do you have pineapple on your pizza?
Now I have. I changed my mind on this.
And it's a yes?
It's a yes.
Nice. I think people have to try it and it's that's good. Summer or winter?
Now summer. Yeah.
Summer, yeah. City or countryside?
Countryside.
Final question. Would you time travel into the past or into the future?
Past.
Past?
I'm into history and stuff. So
right. And would you go far back?
I would love to go to because I'm into like British history and stuff. So I do want to go to that part. Like, I want to know more about Queen Victoria and stuff. So yeah.
And have you watched the Peaky Blinders TV show?
I did. I'm more into Crown.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm a Crown
yeah.
person.
Yeah, Crown's amazing too. How many seasons are there? 5 or 6 or something?
Yeah. I'm not sure. Yeah, like close to 6, maybe. Yeah, 5, 6. I would say. Yeah.
No, I loved that TV show too. It was very good. All right, so we've established who you are, a little bit about what makes you tick. Let's have a look at some of the CMS options, so content management systems, for those that don't know what that means. We work on about 4 or 5 different content platforms or website platforms too.
Yes.
There's Webflow, HubSpot, WordPress, Dato CMS. Is there any I'm forgetting? We've got our own custom bespoke one called DMS as well.
Yeah.
Have you worked on any others in the past as well?
I think, that's
it.
These are the ones I mainly revolve around. Yeah.
And out of those, like, let's just start with a big hard-hitting question. If you had to design your own website, let's say, which platform do you think you would use?
I think it depends, like, what kind of website you want to build. Like, but like if I want to be like, if I'm talking about budget as well at the same time, I will go for WordPress because it gives you like kind of good amount of flexibility. You can do a lot. You can make e-commerce. You can make, a simple portfolio website. So it's quick, and I think cost matters a lot, like nowadays. So I will say WordPress, in terms of like a complete whole package.
It is flexible. It's free as well, which is
the
great.
Biggest thing. I think that's the main thing which kind of attract clients as well. Like if it's like low budget website with like good amount of functionalities, they go for WordPress.
And then having a WordPress site, obviously someone needs to install it, needs to go into a hosting platform. These are more kind of technical things that have to happen. Or if you go through WordPress.org, which is, there's all these fights and things that are going on between that at the moment. But you can get that set up pretty quickly, get a template, get it installed. It does get quite interesting though when you try and take WordPress to the next level, and that's where you as a front ender, I'm sure you do and don't like to experience those types of things with WordPress.
Yeah, true. Like if you like push a lot, then because sometimes what happens is like when we build a website, it's new, performance is really good, everything is working nice, and when we give it to client is like they keep on adding stuff. Sometimes they want to add plugins, and if we add too many plugins, they conflict. So things like that do you have to maintain WordPress website. So that's the main thing.
But I guess because as well, you're hosting it. So in order to get the upgrades or security enhancements and things, you have to install it. And that, like you said, can cause conflicts or whatever. Whereas like if with other platforms such as HubSpot or Squarespace or some of those other ones, they do it for you. The upgrades are done behind the scenes and doesn't really affect your website at all. You're right. Like when you start to, for our business, when we start to look at what someone is looking for, a client or whatever, we don't look at the platform first and see if it fits. We look at what their requirements are and then choose the platform that's most suitable. Have there been any, is probably a topical question, but have you seen or have you worked with some of the projects that we've done this year or last year and thought that the platform now, as the business has grown, should or could be on something different than what it is?
Like a new kind of platform? Or like we should go towards like a specific kind of platform?
So let's say, I guess a good example might be Summerland Bank. Right, and they're on WordPress. They've got an Elementor plugin as well to make drag and drop easy for them. Very important for security as well, being a bank. As they grow and grow, they've now wanted over the last year and a half more things, competition systems and more engagement and all the conversion forms to do certain things in the back without giving away too much of how they do what they do. Do you see that, as websites grow, they might outgrow the platform?
Yeah, yeah, they do. I think so. HubSpot would be a good option for them because they'll do like form submissions, and because like HubSpot is like gives you the flexibility to change. It gives you the flexibility to add like user flows for form submissions. So like it depends on the user submission, you can update the user flows and things like that. So I think they do work around lots of form submissions and stuff. So HubSpot would be a good platform for them. Yeah.
I think, let's talk about HubSpot a little bit. It is a marketing and CRM platform in its shell. Go back to WordPress, that was originally built for blogs and a couple of web pages. And as these platforms grow and grow, customers demand, for WordPress, they want an online store. So WooCommerce was invented. And then they want to be able to do things that it necessarily wasn't built for in the past, so plugins. And then people were making plugins that are, have security flaws and problems as well. So, so it is a challenge. But let's talk about HubSpot for a bit. What are the advantages from your point of view doing code on HubSpot versus something like WordPress too?
Well, for HubSpot, the thing is that it definitely gives you like visual good presentation. You can create modules, custom modules. You can drag and drop, and you can give good amount of flexibility to the client. The thing is that with HubSpot, there are limitations as well at the same time. This, like HubSpot is also good from small to mid-range kind of projects. It's basically a marketing tool, so it's good for those projects as well. So in terms of like creating website, it was not that difficult because the anchor homes as we built that website, that was my first HubSpot project. So transitioning from WordPress to HubSpot was not that difficult for me, and it was easy. Easy to implement things at the same time. But then we found out, okay, so with content and blog, we can't put it into extension. It has to go to the subdomain. So things like that, it has limitations. But in terms of like the whole thing, I think it's a really good tool to work on. Yeah.
And I think too, from a front end code perspective, being able to do your commits and things that you normally would do on other websites is important too, especially for source version control. Is it pretty straightforward with HubSpot as well?
So HubSpot has like a different way of doing things. So it uploads. So instead of source code, it uploads the whole theme when you push it. So it actually don't follow the source code mainly. It does just like you have to upload the theme every time you deploy the website.
Yeah.
So so multiple programmers working on HubSpot website, it sometimes gets tricky.
It sounds that way. I think it's similar to Shopify. How they do their sites, it's all based on theme. And you can have multiple themes running or in there, but then you've got to commit one to be the one that you're publishing. So that's interesting of how that works too.
Yeah.
So what are some of the standout things though from your point of view that HubSpot does that other platforms don't do?
I think the most standing out thing was like for me was, I will say, form submissions, because there was a lot of functionality they are giving to the users there, like creating, more, I don't know, like unlimited user flows for one form, depending on the submission. So that was like a good thing. You can create email templates. There are like lots of drag and drop. You can, create whatever module you want to create. So these were the things standing out for me.
I think, from a marketing perspective too, I've been researching a lot about how we can, because our website's HubSpot, we've got lots of clients that are on HubSpot now. How do we use all of what HubSpot offers? Especially one of the big cons for me is that it is extremely expensive too.
Yeah, that's one of the things. Yeah, I agree with you. In terms of like if you compare with WordPress, yes, then yeah, it is. It is
even for a
expensive.
small site like our website, I think is around $600 a month to have it with HubSpot. And I can see the value in that so long as you're using HubSpot for all that it's got in it too. So initially when we launched our website about 6 months ago, our new website, go take a look. It's awesome, by the way. We weren't utilising everything. We had it for the website. We didn't have it for conversion forms. We didn't have it for our newsletter. We weren't using the Google Chrome extensions for mail or any of that stuff. But right now I could go in and send an email out to our whole client base. And I can even filter that to say, I only want to send it to clients that have interacted with us in the last 3 months because our emails are connected to HubSpot. Or I can have it, I only want people to get this email that have actually been to this particular page on the website in the last 3 months as well. So it's incredible.
Yeah,
like
it's pretty
data.
good. Yeah, and because it's made for marketing. And, you know, the people who are doing marketing and business and all that, that is like a very good platform for those people. So, yeah.
And what's great about HubSpot too, and let's say you do have a WordPress site, 40% of the websites out there are on WordPress,
Yeah,
which is huge.
I was looking at the percentage in the morning as well. It's pretty huge number, like 43% amount of websites are like built in on WordPress. That's
It's
huge.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And now too, HubSpot has for a while, but you can now just get a little bit of code that HubSpot provides if you've got a free HubSpot account too, by the way.
Yeah.
Put that onto your website, no matter what it is, and you can do all the tracking and the behavior and grabbing, using HubSpot forms on the website to have the same experience, even if your website's not with HubSpot.
Yeah, tracking is also good, definitely in HubSpot. In terms of SEO, HubSpot is a pretty good platform as well.
Yeah, you're right, actually. I mean, being able to, for each page, you've got a title and description.
Yeah.
It also helps you with their AI to put the better descriptions and content together for using keywords. It also has featured images. So if someone was to share your website on social media or a text message, for instance, it can come up with a featured image. And so, it's got some really good out-of-the-box features, the redirects. Most of the things that you would have to get plugins for WordPress.
Exactly.
It's already got.
Yeah, it's already there. But I feel like the documentation should be more developer friendly, which is...
I think you're right. I think anything to do with how HubSpot actually markets their own platform is really poor.
Yeah.
And I think the pricing needs to come down to get more of the mass.
Yeah.
Because it's very complicated.
It is. Yeah. Like if you're creating something like straight away in drag and drop, that's fine. But then if you're customizing the whole, website, you need a good amount of documentation to build the whole website. So yeah, that needs to be, I don't know, improved in future. I don't know.
With Anchor Homes, that's one of the ones that we've just launched that is on HubSpot. It's the one that you put together, the whole front end and back end and everything. So are you? How do you feel about the website? Are you proud? Are you I know Flo, for instance, our project manager, he thinks it's one of the best sites that we've done.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard that, but he's really happy with it. Yeah, how do you feel about it?
It's the first website in HubSpot. It came out really good. I think hats off to our designer Cassie. She did a great job.
Sure did.
Creating the design, and it was exciting for me as well to work on it, making sure I do kind of replicate the whole thing into in a good way in a website. So I feel really proud. I think so. I learned a lot during creating this project. So it was good.
Good.
Yeah.
And the next one that we'll hopefully be starting soon is the Peninsula Hot Springs new website, which will be on HubSpot as well. So hopefully we can get you on that one too. And
I think so. In also like in Anchor Homes, because they were already on HubSpot, and we just gave them like a kind of a visual. They integrated with WordPress, but now it's like visually they're completely on HubSpot now.
Yeah,
I think it's good for them as well. They don't need to kind of maintain WordPress and HubSpot at the same time. Now it's just like HubSpot. They're going to create pages and whatever custom automation they want to do, they can do it straight away on one platform.
And what I love about how Anchor does what they do, and we've done a serious amount of work to, because they get a lot of inquiries. So give you a bit of context, Anchor Homes is a modular home builder based in Victoria. They've got their main building area in Stratford, which is about 2 hours drive out of Melbourne CBD. Yeah. And they build all the homes in a factory.
Yeah.
So it's not built on site. It's not built where you'll end up
in beautiful homes.
Yeah, they're amazing. There's about 35 different designs there. Yeah. But what's great is that they build it there. There's less security issues. No one's stealing wood or materials or anything like that. Everyone is undercover while the homes are being built. Yeah. So less off days, which is great. But yeah, as you can imagine, they get a lot of inquiries through the website. They've got brochure downloads. I'm inquiring about a particular design. There's a whole range of different
price
stuff.
listing and
exactly.
A lot. Yeah.
So when a form is submitted with the tools in HubSpot will actually, based on a whole bunch of different conditions and filters and things, determine whether or not that lead is worthy of pursuing based on their input. And it could be based on the budget that they have, the location that they want to build, how long do they have in order for their house to be built? Do they have land? There's a whole range of different things, right, that go into it. But really what happens, which is really good, is it funnels that particular inquiry into a bucket. Let's call it that, right? A bucket of what they call an MQL, which is a marketing qualified lead. They're the hot ones. They're the ones that are perfect. That's the ideal client. And they'll, grab those people, call them up, have them in for a 1 hour consult, talk through the process. Then you've got like a middle bucket, which is they're almost there. Maybe they'll be willing to go up in budget, or maybe they're thinking of a different location. And then you got the ones that aren't just suitable. And there's lots of people that aren't suitable. Low budget or higher expectations, could be anything. But the beauty is that then there's not 5 salespeople trying to filter through all that and make sense of it. The tool automates that process, gives it to the right people, can auto-respond to them with emails or links to other recommended strategies, or, look, you're a bit low on the budget, but if you were able to come up by 50 or 100 grand, we can help you. We've got loan lenders that can help if you need to. So all this stuff is just built into it and makes their life so much easier.
I think that they've selected the right product for that, like right platform, because most of the work is around the inquiries, submissions and stuff. And HubSpot is a great platform for that. Yeah,
I think that my only limitation with HubSpot, other than the price, is that they don't have a e-commerce facility yet either. And with all this marketing potential, you can imagine abandoned carts would be unreal. If someone's like looking at products and, you can get the HubSpot Chrome extension added and it could remind them, hey, you went to this product, and it could be phenomenal. So hopefully that's on the radar for HubSpot. Or they're competing directly with Shopify and then you've got a Shopify site. You could easily install the HubSpot code into it and be able to track and do things that way too. So
same goes for WordPress as well.
So pros and cons for all platforms, and that's where I think as a company or an agency, that's where we do our own assessment and figure out that strategy of where you're going in the future as a client or a company, and make sure that we develop on the right platforms that way.
Exactly.
Let's just jump back into WordPress land a little bit too.
Exciting.
I know. Throughout this year, one of your most annoying things to do is to perform WordPress upgrades, plugin updates. And that's just one of the things that go along with WordPress. And not all plugins are built the same. You could update a plugin, like you said, and it could be a conflict with another. And you don't realize that an inquiry form that was working yesterday is not working today because of that. Sometimes clients log in and they upgrade thinking nothing will be wrong. And then a month later, they've had no inquiries. They're wondering why. So how do you... Yes, you have to update. What's your process, or our process, I should say, to make sure that when we do upgrades and updates, that it's not going to have some serious problems?
So I think Bedrock has made our lives, like everybody's life, like really easy. It's like you don't need to go and just update one by one. You can just run a command. It will update the whole plugin list. But then we do have a procedure that we have to kind of update everything on our local first, and then test everything, and then push it on staging, test everything, and when everything is all good, client can see, they can test, and then we can push it to the production website. So many because of like if the website has like 30, 40 plugins, then definitely you have to see if nothing is breaking, everything is good, nothing is, crashing, the pages are looking nice, all the functionalities are working properly, then, you can just push it to the master branch. But these are the things you have to make sure. We do have a checklist. We have to look into it when we are doing plugin updates and as well. So these are the things you have to go through, and we do make monthly reports as well when we are doing the plugin updates and WordPress updates, because they're quite frequent. So WordPress is doing like almost like every month they're pushing like an upgrade, which is good as well in terms of security, in terms of user friendly, and they make their visual editor updates as well quite frequently as well. So that's good that they're doing it, and it's important for us to make sure that we are pushing upgrades frequently as well to keep up with the security and everything.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's one of the big important things is that just don't let those upgrades just go and not do them, because there's a reason they're there.
Yep.
Again, 44% of the websites are WordPress. So you can imagine there's a lot of hackers out there that are trying to penetrate the WordPress platform or framework. And they do it.
They do it, and they know how to do it. And that's good that there are plugins, there are things that, through which we can make our website safer and not allow them to go in. But yeah, I think mainly there are quite some obvious things, because it's been there for a while. It's been there from 2003, I will say. So hackers know how to do it. So
exactly.
Yeah, so we have to make it safe.
Yep, totally. Let's move on to a different platform, Dato CMS, DATO.
Yes.
You've had some history with it in the past, as well as we've done some updates and changes and things on some existing platforms. It is a little bit less well-known than WordPress and HubSpot. What are the things that you can see with Dato CMS are the things that really stand out for Dato?
Okay, so with Dato, it's definitely a layman person can't work. You need like more kind of curve knowledge, technical person to work on this platform, not like WordPress or HubSpot. You can drag and drop stuff, but not in Dato. There's a technical knowledge you need to do to work on this CMS. So in terms of Dato, it's really good when you're working on like any multi-platform, delivery content. Like as we're working for Peninsula Hot Springs, and they have like multiple branches. So it can be integrated into one dashboard, and you can work on that. So that's pretty good. In performance-wise, Dato is really good as well. So these are the things which stand out for this platform. Also, it's like headless CMS as well. So you can put as much customization as you can. There is no limitation in Dato. So I feel like performance-wise, customization-wise, multi-platform, this is a good CMS to work on.
And what I love about the headless CMS too is that it's almost all entirely API controlled as well from a front-end perspective.
Yes.
Which means too that you might have the content and your structure basically set up in Dato, like layouts and things like that, but it means that then you could have that compiled for front end, like for a website, or it can be a mobile app, or it could be shared with other resources, or for instance, or publications, or so it just or an third party app. So for instance, an example would be Mount Buller. If they were on this particular one, they've got an app, they could have the same content for their about section on the app as the website. If they change it on one section in Dato, it will update on both. So there's some really good. It's like an ecosystem basically in itself. Yeah.
The good part of Dato is as well that you don't need a backend developer for integrating the front end with Dato. It's like they provided you with GraphQL, and over there the whole structure is there. You just need to you can even use queries to extract the data. You can test over there. It's like the whole thing. It gives you the opportunity to create modeling. So there's quite a lot to do in. Through GraphQL, it's easy to integrate the code with the front end. So yeah.
And let's, as an example, where Peninsula Hot Springs is moving from Dato to HubSpot. We're just working through that at the moment.
Yep.
And the reason for it is Dato, even though it is customizable, it's not very flexible when you're wanting to make changes to layouts and things like that on the front end. You really need to have a coder that can do that for you.
Exactly. Yes.
You do have modules, which is good. You can move them up and down and around. But if that particular page doesn't have the modules on it, or if you're looking to just, hey, I want to do a pop-up, it's not possible with, and Dato doesn't have plugins and things like that either. It's all pretty customized. So.
Yeah, so you because every page has its own fields, own things. So like if you want to use one module, for instance, it's using it on the home page, and you like the module, you want to use it in another page, you can't do it. Yeah. You have to ask the developer to make sure that module is in that specific page so that you can use it. So yeah, I agree with you on this. And if you compare HubSpot in terms of that, like flexibility, definitely, it has a plus point that you can. Modules are built globally, and then you can just drag and drop on any page you like.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And that's why I think we chose HubSpot as well for our own ID digital website. Because, I'm creating case studies right now. I'm doing blog articles. At the end of the year, I'm just getting things ready for 2025. I'm looking at, even just having the types of platforms to have their own pages on our website. I don't actually have to go to you or any backend developer. I can create these myself and... and I'm not a coder at all. I like to think I can design, but it just means I can put that together and not have to worry about that. So, I think with Dato, it's great for that headless experience. If you're not changing your layout or structure too much, it works really well. If you're sharing your content with other sources or channels or platforms, it does well too. But again, I keep going back to HubSpot. There are obviously different plans. There's Sales Hub, there's Marketing Hub, there's a whole bunch of different ones. Yeah. While you're in the system, you're like, they offer search. Like, so for instance, you can create your own Facebook, Instagram, TikTok posts, LinkedIn posts, and all that kind of stuff in HubSpot too, which means that when they then push that out to Meta or to TikTok or whatever, it knows which campaign it is. It knows which links are coming through. It knows if they've been before. It's got all this integration.
The whole tracking and
everything.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
Yeah. So, and these are things that you don't get with WordPress or Dato without the HubSpot extension either. So it's, the more I look at it, the more attractive it is. But you've got to weigh that up. And again, for a company, let's say it is a health resort or a health retreat, are you willing to spend more money per month on the platform, which gives you a lot of things, probably everything you need other than an online store? Yeah. Or are you willing to spend that on someone like us that has to develop those things within that system too? So,
and then for these people, like resort people, it's very important to do the marketing. They want, customers, they want people. And for them, making sure, whatever they're putting outside, tracking that what people are liking, what people want, I think it's very important. So, I think HubSpot gives them a good opportunity to track all these things.
And more important, like you said, these days, is to do the storytelling, to let people know who you are, what you believe in, why you should work with us, or why you should buy a product from us. And it's not just having someone come in off a social media post, having a look around and buying something. Yeah. You've got to nurture them. You've got to understand what their needs are. You've got to make sure that the UI has all the things in their mind they're ticking off. Is it, dairy-free, gluten-free, whatever it may be. And then, if they get to the cart and they go away, well, you're just not like, see ya. You want to go, hey, why did you leave? And can I offer you something to come back? Or, and then once they've paid for something, they were interested in this, it's likely that they're going to be interested in that. Or they've got friends. How about we ask them if they'd like to mention it to their friends can get a bit of a discount or get something of added value. So, and you can imagine if every single person did that without the tools, the right tools, that's a full-time person that's working for you.
Of course.
And that's at least, 60 grand or something a year for a junior marketing person. Would you rather than spend that on the platform that can do it for you, or get someone like us to set it up for maybe 10 grand or something and you're done, and only do that once a year?
Yeah.
To set up those workflows and the process, and the business just runs itself. And that's where having a digital ecosystem, which is what we like to call it, where the system and your business and your content and your channels all work, that's the dream. And that's what I think we'll be pursuing more next year as well.
Nice.
I talk a lot, sorry.
That's okay.
So yeah, I think we've summarized the major differences then between the platforms. HubSpot being for marketing, Shopify for obviously online stores.
Yep.
WordPress is for like small businesses or articles.
Small businesses, if they prefer, I will say flexibility.
Yep, budget conscious.
Flexibility more than design and specs. So flexibility is really important for them. Then WordPress is good.
Yeah, just be aware that if you are doing it yourself or you're just using paid themes and plugins, that you got to be wary that security and DDoS and all that kind of stuff is going to be fun. And Dato.
But I do want to say one thing. There are a few people out there. They think that if they make a website in WordPress, they are developers. I have made this website in WordPress. They just do drag and drop. I'm the developer. Yep. But WordPress is more than that. It has lots of capabilities more than drag and drop.
Totally. And if it's a Squarespace site or a WordPress site, and people can do those things themselves and they think they've got it up and it's running great. Yeah. But there's so much that goes into a website these days. You've got to think about your search, your discovery, your reputation, and all the other platforms you've got to be on, Pinterest and Google My Business. And so, in order to have a successful business, that's why we're here, I guess, too, to put them in the right direction. Where platforms are moving to, obviously AI, like Squarespace has got their own AI, HubSpot's got its own AI.
Elementor, they got it as well. I think Webflow has it as well.
Yeah, Webflow as well. Webflow's going nuts. There's more platforms coming out. Where do you see the web going in the next 3 to 5 years? Do you think it'll be vastly different, or do you think we'll just be new platforms and new experiences, or do you think even the consumer will change? Do you think that they're more conscious that they're being tracked? And I know it's a very big question, but where do you see it going?
If I talk about AI first, I will say I feel like in terms of drag and drop, honestly speaking, I didn't use it, but there are a few things where you still need a person to guide the AI what to do. So you have to be specific what to do. You can't just say, make a website and it will give you whatever. You have to be specific in terms of AI. What you need, you have to guide it. So it will make our life easier, I will say, but then still upon customer requirement, customer specifications and everything, you need to tell AI what to do for you. So so AI plays a very good role in that. Sorry, what was the second
No,
one?
it's just, where do you see the web going in the next 3 to 5 years? Do you think it is going to be the same as what we've got now, or do you think it's going to be more visual, or, are we going to be off the screens? Is it going to be more, I don't know. Where do you see it? I don't want to give too much of what I think it'll be, but
I think so. Developers will still be here. That's my thinking. I'm not sure what others think, but developers will be here, but it's just that for simple things, maybe it would be easier to build, but for complex stuff, I don't think so. Developers are going anywhere soon.
I agree. I think coding is probably going to grow, actually. It's going to be a much more popular profession because of the amount of effort and work going into it. You look at anyone walking down the street, they're on their phone. Yeah. They're just engaged. Because the life around them, unfortunately, right now isn't as interesting as what's in their hand. And I think that will change. I think that'll change in the next 5 to 10 years. Well, people will just be sick of looking at this little rectangle in their phone, in their hand, and go, I actually want to see more of the world.
Yeah. And I feel like IT is the safest job nowadays, and I think in future as well. When AI came in, people were like, "Oh, the jobs are in trouble now." I'm not sure about other professions, but I will talk about mine. I don't think so. IT, especially developers, will be going anywhere soon. It's gonna be here. They're gonna be here. They're gonna still helping people, building stuff, because it will. I think it will evolve, but it won't go anywhere.
I think too, it's in the name artificial intelligence. It's artificial.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think, are realizing that, so much of the web content out there is artificially created these days.
Yeah.
And you're presented on Google search or even ChatGPT search now, an artificial understanding of what it is that you're looking for. And I get annoyed. I'm looking at ChatGPT half the day. I'm on search and I'm trying to help people get their rankings up, whereas I think a lot of people are going to be like, I'd rather it be more natural than artificial.
True.
Copilot, for instance, which I think you use.
I use Copilot. It helps a lot for sure, but there are things where it has its limitations as well. When it gives you a generic reply and you're like, okay, but this answer doesn't suit my my scenario.
Yeah.
So then you have to think. You have to figure out how to work around, how to fix the error. So. Yeah, it is definitely helpful, but in some cases you have to, figure it out by yourself.
And I think, again, talking about the name artificial intelligence, Copilot is in the name too. It's not just the engine running itself and doing it. It's your Copilot.
Yeah.
It's trying to help you. It's not going to do the job.
Yep.
But it'll try and help you.
Yeah.
And
it does definitely make things quicker. Because you don't need to, because obviously when you're doing coding, you're thinking,
Yeah.
So when you're coding, Copilot suggests things and, give you whatever, CSS or, adds up the code, start giving you suggestions. So you just do tab, and it can do the work. It is quicker, but then at the same time, you have to make sure things are going in a correct because sometimes it gives you those suggestions which you don't want.
Exactly.
So in that way, you have to make sure that you're putting the right thing.
And I think as an operator of the engine or of the system, the artificial system, you become a lot more aware of how to get better responses or better output out of it too.
Yep.
I noticed with Copilot, you're just, coding away and it just recommends things at the end. You're like, that's it, and hit tab or something and it finishes it.
Yep.
And so it's kind of like the old typewriter where, you're typing along and you just stop and it finishes the sentence for you. It's quite cool. Even Google Gmail does that now. I write, I'm replying back to someone, I write hi, and it starts it with their name.
Exactly.
I'm like, oh, that's easy, tab.
But sometimes you tab and you're like, oh no, I don't want this, remove.
Exactly, yeah. And you're like, oh, wrong person. But I find too, and I've talked about this in previous podcasts as well, technology is really meant to make our lives better, right? And even Apple, one of their big things is that they build what they do in order to enrich people's lives. Yeah. But what I find, it's actually making life harder, and you're doing so much more stuff in your day than what you would have, let's say, even 20, 30 years ago. I look back to when I was like 10, living in the 1990s. We had huge sound systems. We had no mobile phones. We had a phone with a stupidly long coil up on the wall.
My uncle had it.
Yeah. had a big TV that was all reception based. It wasn't digital or anything. But we were chilled. We were happy. We were at home. We weren't worried about who's posting what or... it's just a different world.
Nowadays, it's like too much to digest. There's a lot of information. We have access of, everything. So you can, whatever you think or whatever you want to know about, you can just Google and it will pop up straight away. So, I don't know. Maybe in young generation, that's also a thing that because we have access of so much, too much information, people are having anxiety issues and
they're stepping away from it. And that's what I can see. That's why I'm coming back to what our question was about the next 3 to 5 years. I can see people are going to get over it. They're going to get over, you can look at 100 ads before you even get out of bed on Instagram or Facebook or the news publications or, and it's stuff you don't really need to know.
Exactly.
It doesn't actually make your life any better. I would rather not have the phone, have it dead, break it in half for a weekend, get up and just cook some breakfast for the kids, you know, go out and mow the lawns or show them how to do something or play games.
True. And sometimes simple things are good.
But isn't it funny? Like, sorry, I'm harping on about this. We spend almost, let's say 75% of our year working, right, when we're not sleeping. And we crave that other 25%. So we're working so hard to have so little. And that's where I think, we need to somehow shift that. And again, this is the world we're in. We can't change that. Yeah. And you have to work within the world that you're in. But I think...
I will share like one thing. Sometimes you are just adding on your thing that, you know, we are working 75% and rest of it's like, you know, other things. But then if you don't work, what do? What's the purpose? Yeah, that's the thing. So you're
right. I mean, do you go back to what it was like in the 1980s or 1990s and sit around listening to music and, I don't know, going to the drive-in and things like that? I mean, I think we're so now in tune with being busy that it'd be hard not to be.
Yeah, same. Like I'm like, oh, this week was so busy. Now I'm gonna do that, and on the weekend I'm like, if it's like too quiet, I'm like, why I'm not busy? I have to do something. I have to engage with something. Yes, I think life is like that, and I think I like being busy, honestly.
Well, that's the world we're in. So luckily you're in it too. But I think it's understanding what we're in. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah.
And right now, you know, it's 1:43 in the afternoon, and I used to, when I was young, you know, I'd be going to uni or whatever. I was thinking, what am I doing today? Right. And then 10 years from then, I'm like, what am I doing this hour? And now running a business and being responsible for 10 people and a family and all that kind of stuff, I'm thinking about every minute. Of where I can maximize my time and where I can spend it with them, or who needs my attention in the team, or, you know, it's crazy. So by the time I get home, I'm wired at night. I've got to put AirPods in my ears and listen to something really boring in order just to get my mind off everything, and I can have a
sometimes
rest.
we feel like I didn't got enough time today to do, you know, why there are 24 hours in a day. It should be more than that.
Exactly. Who made it 24 hours? Make it 48 hours or something. But, but it's interesting. That's where I think, because everyone's so busy and we're on Instagram and we're trying to buy things, and I just think everyone's just going to go, why are we doing all this? And I can feel the fatigue as well at the end of this year. I'm finding everyone's just like, can we finish yet? And even our staff party, like, we got messed up a little bit because the place had a private booking. Anyway, we finished our staff party early and everyone's like, let's just go home. Everyone just wanted some time off.
True.
But who knows? Like, it's great to be busy. But I think, some people are just being busy not for the right reasons too.
I agree.
And we're trying to push so many people to do things that they might not want to do, or we're tracking them so much that we know what they want to do before they know what they want to do. So, it's.
I think it's a learning process. Like, in life you figure out like what's the purpose and what do you want, what makes you happy. That's the thing.
I just look at a lot of people out. I'm bike riding around everywhere. I go bike riding every day. And everywhere I go, if they're not on a bike or if they're not on, they're on their phones. They're just looking, and I'm just like, the world is bigger than that.
I'll tell you one thing. One day, I was going back from office to home, and I just started noticing people, and I'm like, each person is on his phone. Nobody is talking. It was so weird.
It is weird. Even in restaurants, couples will sit down together and they're just scrolling individually. They get their food. Like, what is this? This is wrong. Like, where's that interaction? But anyway, enough about that, I guess. Do you see any emerging technologies that you think, as a front-end developer, you're keen on exploring a bit further?
Okay. Like any existing or a new platform?
Well, I get a lot of, funnily, all that talk about me trying to be offline. I get a lot of my information from TikTok. So I'll always, like, a lot of people just scroll, whereas I like to search in TikTok and I'll look up emerging tech or new CMS platforms or whatever. There's so many of them out there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like because sometimes I feel like I do search things as well that, what's the best, what's the, what people are like working on, what's the industry. is working on. Mainly what I found was if in terms of if you're a developer, I'll answer this question. Like industry is mainly working on React. People are building e-commerce websites, especially on Shopify, because of their easy checkout process. So definitely in terms of e-commerce, I didn't get much exposure like in Shopify, so I do want to know more about it. And more projects on React, I will say.
I think too, my emerging tech is to have less of it. I've noticed overseas as well, I think mostly in Asia, you don't even need a credit card, you don't need keys. So what they've developed is palm technology. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but you can put your hand up. There's no tech into it. It's not built in like the Terminator or anything. You just put your hand up, it scans your palm and then knows who you are and just puts it against your account. Oh. It's crazy, right? So you got no phones or anything, or you can go up to, a vending machine. I need some food. Palm, take it. So you got nothing on you. It'd be weird, wouldn't it?
It's scary.
Yeah. And I think Apple next year is coming out with the Apple Ring, which is going to be just a ring that lasts 30 days of battery. There's no screen, because I think they've realised as well people shouldn't be on their screens as much anymore. It's bad for you too.
Okay.
But around the ring, it's like a little marquee text thing, which will show you your text messages, or it can read it out to you, or you might have your Bluetooth, your headphones on or whatever. But I can see that people are just wanting less connection, but still being connected somehow if they need it.
But it's also a thing like whether people accept these things, because I feel like
the goggles,
it didn't work out. I don't feel like in the beginning they did good marketing and people were like every influencer was like,
I wanted one. Yeah.
And then
because the drawbacks was it's heavy and it needs a battery pack, but I think that's emerging at the moment. As soon as like the batteries get better, or it uses kinetic energy to power it, or you need to have a hat on with a solar panel on it, or I don't know.
I think it's also about people acceptance as well, how they accept the product. So, but one thing is that I saw one of the reels a few days back where I'm into F1, so that guy had like the whole chart, then the cockpit view, then the helicopter view. He made the whole screen in the goggles. And I'm like, wow, that's good.
That's a good way of using it, yeah.
Like to watch something, especially like, because if you go to watch F1, you can just see the cars and the sound. But, watching the statistics, the camera views, and like all of the things, it's amazing. In that way, I feel like that is good.
It's a good use of that technology too. Yeah. Good. Well, if someone's looking to work with us, I think, the best way in terms of a website or a platform for that matter, is, we'll give you an honest opinion about which platform to use and how we can see that being useful or appropriate for you coming forward with your website or with your business too. But I really appreciate you. That was an amazing conversation. It was good. I hope you had a good time.
Yeah. My first podcast, and thanks for inviting me. I think I had a great time.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. We'll have you on again. We'll talk about something different.
Thanks for tuning in to the Creative and Code podcast.
That's all, folks.
We hope you enjoyed this episode and found it as inspiring and entertaining as we did. Remember, there are plenty more episodes to explore, so make sure you keep listening for more creative insights and coding tips. A big shout out to our amazing sponsors and the team at ID Digital Agency for making this podcast possible. Got a story to share or want to be a guest on our show? We'd love to hear from you. Send us a 2-minute or less audio clip to creativeandcode@iddigital.com.au. Suggestions, ideas, or just want to say hi, we're all ears. Thanks again for listening. Until next time, stay creative and keep coding.